We have two designs of lockers which have Solsicle Diamond, the highest attach standard. The first locker holds the bike vertically, very easy to use, you don't have to lift the bike. It comes either on a flat base, which is great for developers because they can put it onto a flat piece of concrete, or it does come with adjustable feet, and the idea is it's got adjustable feet in each corner and it will take up for any sloping ground, and this is great for outdoor areas such as social housing. We also do a horizontal locker. Now the horizontal locker holds two bikes, one way and the other, both inside it. The advantage of this is that this locker, the door opens from the side, so very useful if you want to put it at the back of a garage or at the back of a car parking space, because it gives easy access by coming in from the side for putting two bikes in. The vertical locker comes coloured. There's basically the standard colour is a British Racing Green or an Oxford Blue. We also do a galvanised finish. That they're all galvanised, but rather than painting it, just for environmentally, it's just galvanised finish with a grey door, cement grey. The horizontal locker only comes galvanised. The idea being if it's a private individual, then they can paint it themselves if it's for somebody's own house. But also this product is used indoors. The idea being is it's a sort of a change from bike racks. Both products though can come with a solar panel on top of them. They're really designed for e-bikes, more expensive bikes, but e-bikes. This is showing the solar panel on the roof. It's charging a battery within the locker. This is the charging circuit which charges the battery. And then this battery that's in the locker is connected to an inverter, and the inverter is what you charge your e-bike with. So the sun from obviously produces the solar power, and it will run an e-bike about 100 miles a week in the summer, 50 miles in the winter. And we do recommend you switch it off, although the whole system does switch off automatically. Now with the horizontal locker, we also can fit a fire screen. This is really useful for indoor applications. It's a seal, it's a fire seal. So the idea being is if you're storing bikes inside, especially e-bikes that can have a fire hazard, if they catch fire, this holds the fire load. This is very important for fire officers if you're putting them in the basement of buildings, and then what we can do is we can actually stack one locker on top of the other. So this is very much, rather than having two-tier bike stands in the basement of buildings, which can be a real fire risk, this is the idea is you can put lighter bikes in the top. It's only 1250 high lift. This is well within HSE lights, but obviously the heavier bikes would go in the bottom. Now there's a huge anti-jemmy plate at the back of the door. When it closes, it locks the jemmy plate. This is at the back of the door, and at the front of the door this locks into a mechanism using a 6mm plate, and when you put the padlock on, it's very, very secure. Now this, as I say, can be used in basements, it can be used outside in managed situations. Here you're seeing on our website, these are lockers that are in London. There's about 2,500 lockers in London that we manage. Each of those pegs have got lockers in them. Some of them have got 20, 30 lockers, some of them just 2 pegs. But the red pegs, they're full, the green ones aren't. And in Plymouth, where we're based, we put them into park and rides, into city centre, and we manage them as well. And that has become really important. In the rail industry in Dublin, they started managing them. They've just ordered another 20 stations are having lockers put into them. So we actually rent the lockers. So this is something which we're doing as well. And this is very important because this does work with the product. So let's say you lived in London, and so there was lockers on your housing estate. So you lived in London, let's say in Southwark. If you go onto our website, and let's say you happen to live at, I don't know where we're going to with this one, Lisford Street. If you went to Lisford Street, then you would see our lockers. So you can go to the website, it tells you to go onto the website and you can apply for a locker. 8 lockers there, 8 rents, none available. Okay, they're £45 a year at social housing areas, and they're very popular in London at the moment because obviously people not wanting to use public transport. This is another one, this is, these are in Hackney, again they're full. We'll get a railway station. If we pick a railway station down Cornwall, they're not quite so busy at the moment because the railway is not being used so much at the moment. So if we go to Redruth, you will see some lockers available there. So they're at a railway station, and you can apply for a locker there. And yeah, there's 5 lockers there, 2 rented. So you can apply online. I just want to explain to you what the importance of managing the lockers are. What's happening with the more expensive bikes and definitely e-bikes is because they're becoming so expensive, the insurance companies really don't want to insure them unless they're put into very secure cycle parking. And the advantage with Sole Secure Diamond is it is recognised within the insurance industry as being one of the best ways of securing a bike. Now the nice thing is people are prepared to pay for this cycle parking because at the end of the day they would never expect their £3,000–4,000 bicycle to be kept free of charge. So we can charge people for them, and this means you can recoup the money on the locker. In rail industry we can put them in completely free of charge. Doesn't cost the rail industry anything at all, and in fact in the long term we can actually give them the same income as the land would get them if they put a car there. So it's a real huge advantage to them. But it's important to see cycling has moved on. It's not just people with cheaper bikes. There are people that ride bicycles every day that with a really good quality bike which is form of their transport, and these are the people which really do need good quality cycle parking, and this will encourage cycling to many places. In developments, basements, unattended basements, multi-storey cycle stacking is not a place to put a £2,000 or £3,000 bicycle, and so this is why we want to get across to developers that this can be put in. It wouldn't cost them any money because the cyclists are prepared to pay for this type of thing. And this is the last thing I really wanted to say, is so it's not just the product, but it's also the rental and being able to get the money back. It's a win-win situation for everybody. The last thing I would like just to say is security. People, especially in the rail industry, and if you put them into public places, or somebody could put an explosive device in it or something like this. This is not the case. The thing is, these lockers are managed. So basically nobody can get hold of a locker unless we vetted them. So we know where they live. We do a check, if it's the rail industry, of their employment or their place of education, so that we know who they are. This is not basically an open access system that always closed at all times. And the last thing we're doing also is short-term rentals. We're actually developing a lot which will again have diamond, and so you'll be able to rent them for a short period of time. But again, these people, to get an app to be able to rent them, would be vetted by us and would be checked. And this is being securely checked by Plymouth HSE. They put managed lockers in Plymouth. They agree that this is totally not a terrorist threat, and Plymouth is a naval port. Last thing I will say is we even had the Queen in 2010 come to the Civic Hall in Exeter, where we've got managed lockers, and they actually allowed because they knew the members of staff who had the lockers, that they could bring their bikes in, yet the bike racks had to be emptied the day the Queen arrived. So there was no bikes in conventional bike racks, yet they saw the lockers as a far more safer way of storing a bike. And this is important because I know the rail industry will say to you, oh no, it's a terrorist threat, because it's an old rule which were the old people years ago putting lockers in, which were just open access, and that is enabled people to put bombs in. This is a different ball game. If you'd like any more information, please feel free to give me a ring. I would love to discuss any potential results you'd like to do, but it is very much for the more expensive bikes, and I think that's what really needs to be pushed in this country to encourage cycling to many different locations.